It's that time of year when we begin moving our houseplants indoors to their winter home. And when we do this, we not only acclimate them to lower light levels, but we also want to keep an eye out for pests. Snails, ants, pill bugs, and even centipedes can make their home in our containers. And this is particularly true of our terracotta pots. So we want to check our plants and make sure we're not bringing in any critters with them. You could just gently tip your plant out of its container and then check the soil for insects. You want to particularly look around where the drainage holes are and just gently check the outer layers. And this one looks very clean, no problems here. Another place that we want to look is on the surface of the soil. And sometimes we have leaf material that's collected. We want to remove that from the plant and just dig around gently on the surface to see if there's any insects. Anything you could find, you could just remove by hand, or if there's quite a lot of insects, repot the plant, wash the soil off the roots, and give it a nice fresh potting media. Now, another thing we want to look at is the foliage to see if there's any insects on the foliage and also the stems, and also look for diseased plant material. And we want to remove anything that looks infested and then treat for insects. And the foliage can be treated if it's a very light infestation. You could just use a stream of water to wash insects off the plant surface, and make sure to pay attention to the bottom of the leaves as well. We can also use a variety of insecticides that are safe for use indoors, such as insecticidal soaps. And there's also products that contain pyrethrins. Now, these products need to be applied outdoors, but then the plants can be brought indoors. Now, it's important that you isolate your plants that have been treated for insects from your other house plants, just to keep any pests from moving on to healthy plants. And this is true actually with all plants that we bring in from outdoors. It's a good idea to keep those isolated and monitor them for pests for about 4 to 6 weeks and make sure they're free of any problems before we bring them around our other house plants. And again, if you're bringing new plants home from the store, we want to treat them the same way. Now, one problem that we find in the winter, the environment's really ideal indoors for pests. The temperatures are warm, there's no predators, so some pests can really explode. And one of those that tends to be an indoor problem is the fungal gnat. This is a small fly that looks quite a bit like a fruit fly, but it's found around the soil. The adults lay eggs in the soil and the larvae develop in the soil surface. And this is a particular problem if plants are overwatered. So one way to manage our fungal gnats is to allow the upper 2 inches of soil to dry out in between waterings. We can also trap the adult flies on yellow sticky cards, and these are placed just above foliage level. The adults are attracted to that color, and then it has a glue that traps them. You could put one in the center of several plants. You don't need one in each plant. And then in the soil, there's a number of products that are applied as a soil drench, which means we mix them with water and irrigate them into our plants. And those are designed to attack the larvae and kill the larvae. One of these would be a variety of imidacloprids. There's many different products. There's also a biological control, and that's Bacillus thuringiensis. It's a variety called Israeliensis, and this one is targeted towards fly larvae, and it's applied as, it comes as a granule, and you mix that in to your watering can and then just pour into the soil. Remember to keep a good eye on your plants indoors throughout the winter months to make sure that new pest problems haven't developed.